Hi, good evening, and welcome to Dumb SEO Questions, episode 141. Each week we answer the questions asked on the SEO Questions community on Google+. With us tonight we have David Rozam, an SEO copywriter. David has been writing copy for 30-odd years, 10 of them as an SEO copywriter. You can find David at writingforseo.org.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Micah Fisher-Kirshner is Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk.com. Micah, well, I should have said that David is located in the UK. Micah is located on the west coast of the USA. Silicon Valley almost, Micah.
Yeah, well, Bay Area, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And Tim Capper is a noted SEO and conversion rate optimization specialist. Tim's also from the UK. You can find Tim at onlineownership.org. Each week questions are asked in the SEO Questions community on Google+, and we meet once a week to answer them. Our first question tonight, we don't have a lot, is from Alray Resultan on how can I fix my sitemap. He provides an image which can be seen on the community, and he says that the first image shows an error on my sitemap XML on line 3250. The second image, the URL was working perfectly when I copied and pasted is working perfectly when I copy and paste it onto the address bar and press enter. I see that Jan Staber provided a solution. What do you think of Jan's response, guys? It's on the screen. I'd say it looks right. Encoding is usually something which traps us all.
Yeah, I mean, at least Jim's or Jen's seems to be right. Not my forte to dive into kind of those errors. You don't usually see them often on an XML. But yeah, can try encoding as suggested, making sure that will work that way. If not, I'll come back again and then we can take a look.
Okay. We thank Jan Steiber for his contribution. Each week we have a lot of people who put in some heavy time answering the questions as they come in, and that we appreciate very much. All right, moving on to the next. Here's a great one from Krishnan GM on how to optimize his blog for voice search. He said, now that Google supports voice search, therefore, how should I optimize my blog for voice search?
Yeah, I mean, I like this type of question. I mean, it's forward thinking. The difference is kind of with voice search is that it's often one result, unless somebody's asking for a list of, list of places or search results or kind of stuff. But you often find with voice search, and you can expand it beyond just Google, that it's often either a top result or a specific site that is being referenced. So you really kind of have to start thinking, okay, what is the results that are coming up, whether for Google Now or Cortana or Safari, Siri, and kind of see where you need to be. So for example, if it's an informational phrase and it's on Google, you're going to need to try to get those direct answers. That said, kind of the thing to keep in mind with the direct answers is often people are just listening, and so they're not going to hear the. Sometimes it varies with the voice search where the answer is coming from, but that's one of the things to then focus on. If it's a type of informational or non-informational where it's kind of like a Yelp result that is being referenced, oftentimes it's having to be the first result, and so it's then optimizing for those sites themselves. If you need kind of something more specific, just consider some examples, what's showing up, and then that's where you need to start attacking. So you're kind of essentially having to broaden your abilities beyond just pure web search, and start considering, okay, how do I get either my blog or my site to show up for those different websites.
Excellent. Thanks, Micah. Anybody else with a comment on this one? All right, let's move on with the next one. We'll have a short hangout tonight. Here we are. Lisa Labates Payers has asked a question on duplicate URLs. She said, "Hello everyone, here is a duplicate URL related question. I hope this is the appropriate place to ask for some help. If not, can you tell me who to ask?" She said, "So I have this website with two languages, French and English. The URL structure is as follows: www.website.com/English-pages and www.website.com/FR/French-pages. But lately I noticed that all of the English pages exist in two URLs, www.website.com /English pages and www.website.com/en/English pages. Every time I create a new English page, a URL including /en is created. Is this considered to be duplicate content, and if so, is this harmful? Many thanks in advance."
Yeah, so this is going to be duplicate content, assuming that Google can find it. Not only that, but you may have some issues with the French side. So yeah, the first thing you want to do is, purely on the two English examples, is if you can, 3-1 redirect one to another. If you can't 3-1 redirect, use an economical tag. And then when it comes, and so that will help to tell Google that the two English pages are the same. The French side, there's something called the hreflang attribute. So that, if you, it's a bit more technical. If you go to Google's kind of post about the hreflang, you can find more information in detail there about how to basically say, hey, Google, this English page is very similar to this one written in French. So more or less, when someone is typing in French for the same term in English, if it's in French, send them to this page. If it's in English, send them to that one. And that way you can make sure that kind of Googlebot doesn't get confused with like, well, we could go either way because they're the same meaning, just in one language versus another. And that's just a way to help specify that out. And using those two, that should help kind of resolve. It's implemented correctly should help resolve potential issues that come up with this type of duplication.
Excellent. Excellent. Anyone want to build on Micah's response? All right, let's move on to the next. Michael Tigulo thinks he has a penalty. He said, I have questions. If I go to Google Maps and search for pet sitters in St. Petersburg, my client site does not have a pin and they're not mentioned. But if I search Google Maps for the brand name, they're listed, but there's no pin or location there. However, my client business is a verified business. The only thing I can think of is a penalty. Thanks in advance.
I'm just looking in the run list. Do we have what is the brand name?
I'll see if I can see if I can find it.
He doesn't say. Okay, so my immediate thing is my immediate thing is obviously I can't look because I don't know what the business page is or the brand or the name of it. But from what he's describing, one, what category have you selected? Two, have you actually got pet sitters in your business description, and or is that linked to a site where you mention that? And if there isn't a pin, then I'm assuming that you have selected a service business listing. You won't have a pin in a service business listing because you've selected an area that you cover and not an actual address. So without knowing what the page is, I can't specifically tell you. But from what you've described, I think you've selected a service business. There could also be the potential of, is there a duplicate listing, which obviously I can't check for. And a duplicate would also do what you're describing. But if you want to come back, Michael, and give me a bit more information, I can probably give you a better idea of what's going on. But no, I don't think there's a penalty.
Yeah, well, look, Michael's a freelance SEO working in San Augustine. Well, no, Iloilo, wherever that is. Oh, it's in the Philippines. Okay, got it. So that being St. Petersburg, maybe Michael didn't want to publish his client's name, which is fair enough. Okay.
Well, then I can only give a roundabout answer.
Yeah, but if Michael were to PM you, you wouldn't mind that, would you, Tim?
No, it's fine. Send it to me. I'll have a look.
Yeah. Or you can send it to me. I don't mind.
Yeah, either or.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's move on to the next, and it's a question from Gayatri Muthuswamy on titles using a colon. Does it work now or not? This is fairly obscure. Brand name colon keywords 1 keywords 2 dot dot. Please help me. Please help me. I guess that he means putting the brand name with the colon after it.
Yeah, I'm not aware of colons ever not working, so I don't know where he's gotten that from. More worried about it that it's brand name keyword 1, keyword 2 in the title versus something a little more descriptive. But yeah, you can if you're tied to using the colon, it should be okay.
Yeah, I think the main thing is title's so important for the click-through. Instead of worrying about Googlebot, make sure that the title is clear and makes sense and it is attractive to the person making the search. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah,
Here's a question. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I just said, did anyone say put the brand name last?
It was mentioned. I see that it was mentioned in the comments.
Oh yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having a lot of technical problems aside from Dave's brain problems, usual. But I've got things cutting out and losing bits of conversation, all sorts of stuff today.
Yeah, you're an Apple user, right?
I am, but I'm also a Google Hangout user.
I'll try not to hold it against you.
Okay. All right, let's move on to question 6 for Lewis Young on the Panda algorithm penalty. He said, in your experience, how many low-quality pages could result in a penalty from the Panda algorithm as a percentage of the overall number of pages indexed under a domain? For example, if you have 10,000 indexed pages, then how many low-quality pages would it take to be penalised? 50, 100, or 1,000? A lot of SEOs seem to state that it only takes a few, but no one will ever put a number on it. I find it hard to believe Google would be so strict as to penalise a whole domain with Panda if less than 5% of pages do not meet the quality standards. What are your thoughts? Before you guys answer, I'd like to just chip in and say if the pages are low quality, it's unlikely that Googlebot will index them in the first place. Or at least less likely.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, it's really not it's not a numerical amount. How many? It's no SEO, I would say, in opinion, truly knows or at least will not publicly say the amount. The way to look at it is just Google is at a certain point saying there's a bar and don't pass it. If is it less than 1%? Is it less than 5%? Probably not. I don't think they're going down that far as a percentage, but it's kind of a judgment call of what you're comfortable with. You just have to realize the more junk as a percentage of your site in total, the more you risk kind of that wrath. A single page, probably not a big problem. But as it starts to ramp up, where you have to realize that numbers can quickly shoot out of control. You may be thinking you only have 10,000 index pages, but that may be only what Google is going to show in one area. You may be submitting a lot more in an XML sitemap. There may be more that Google is finding through parameters. So you just have to be careful to kind of really do some digging and saying, okay, how many is it really, are we showcasing there? That may be an issue. So consider those things before kind of making a quick assumption of the amount that you have. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a judgment call, to be honest, in my opinion, on the percentage amount.
Has anybody done any studies on whether pages which you have no indexed will be affected or caught up in Panda's deliberations?
Oh, let me clarify, because I probably misheard. If it is a no index, then it's not something to worry about. It's not factored in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, then the best advice would be to, if he thinks that he's got low quality pages, don't worry about what the percentage might be. Just simply no index them, because if they're low quality, they're not going to help his site anyway. Would that be reasonable to guess?
Yes, but oftentimes, particularly for a lot of sites that get affected by Panda, it's difficult to judge one's opinion of what is and isn't low quality, and then oftentimes you'll miss things to get no index, and then the whole technical side of well, we can't really do it in this easy way. So it's just yeah. If it was as simple as that, that would be awesome. But technically, oftentimes it's not. Yeah, if you can no index robots.txt and then no index then robots.txt them, if you can redirect them, canonicalize them, that would be best. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Micah.
Yeah. If I may say something, I've actually done this to a site. There was some. It appeared to be pandered or penalised by Panda, or however many P's you wish. And I came to the conclusion that there were some standard pages that kept coming up with very little content but links to other places, and I no indexed them, and that seemed to help, although that wasn't the only thing that was done. So it certainly doesn't do harm. I would go as far as to say that. I would probably say go ahead and do it, given that in my sample of one, it didn't cause any problems.
Great, David. All right, so if there are no others, I'll move on with the next. Okay, our next is from Riley McKenzie, who said, my page is not cached. He said, hello all, my problem is that for a long time in Google+, my page is not caching, so can anybody please tell me how I can cache my page? He gives the link, which is in the SEO Questions community on Google+. And you can also see it on the screen here. Yeah, okay, guys. What are your thoughts for Riley? Really does sound like a Tim Capper question.
What's the number here? Question 7.
Yep.
Long time Google Plus page is not caching, so nobody please tell me. Okay, let's have a quick look at this. Um, hold on.
Is he tossing a coin?
No, he's going through his red book.
Oh, I thought he was tossing a coin.
The story goes he went up on a mountain one day and came back with that red clipboard.
No, sorry guys. No, I've got little things which obviously don't stick in my brain sometimes that I need to add to certain things to. Right. So yes, he says it wasn't cached in a long time. It was cached 28th of May at 18 minutes past 10 in the evening. So what? That's give or take 6 days. So no, it is being cached.
Okay.
I mean, if you call a week a long time, it's not a long time. I just want to have another little quick look at his page here. Stream is now find the best cleanup. I just want to see what the last post was. The last cache was it says on the 28th, but it actually includes a post in the cache from the 29th as well as the 1st of June. So, you know, it's not a long time, a week. It's doing pretty well for caching.
So if he's made a post on Google Plus, and that appears, and if he made it on the 1st of June, why is Google saying that the cache was taken 3 days earlier?
Because it'll if it's saying, you know, I suppose it's all different data centers. So I'm taking a cache for a particular page. It could be providing me something else, but it tries to. I don't really know, but also its web Google Plus pages look totally different cached than like a normal website, if you know what I mean. It's just it's really gobbled. I suppose it's just the way they read it. I don't know, but you've still got 2 more posts in there. Unless I haven't looked properly and he's actually duplicated a couple of posts, which... But yeah, it's caching it. It's not a problem.
Excellent. All right, Riley, I hope that's been useful to you. And Yogesh Dhawan has a question for us on tracking SEO leads. He said, how do I get to know where the leads are coming from? Is it through AdWords, SEO, or any other method? I need to know about each specific lead, not just the number of leads from each platform. AdWords tells me how many conversions, but which one's not, he said, but I don't know what he means. He said, is there anything I can do to track SEO leads as well? Any software, paid or free?
Ooh.
Well, what he's saying...
Am I missing something?
Yeah, go on.
Just Google Analytics, the answer.
Well, that gives him, he can get, that'll give him organic search and AdWords, but it gives him a sum total, not each individual one. He's asked, he said he needs to know about each specific lead, not just the number of leads from each platform.
Cheers, Micah. Well, you're going to have a bit of a problem there because of not provided. So, yeah, you're going to have a very big problem there. Some organic still will provide some types of keywords. But no, you're going to have a bit of a problem with not provided, no matter what software, paid or free. And then you say AdWords tells you how many conversions, but which ones don't. So is that why you're asking which ones don't? Well, you're going to have a slight trick there also because, I mean, if you've obviously integrated into your analytics, so you're going to go into analytics, go into your AdWords, it will say X amount of keywords. It'll tell you what keyword came along, what campaign, well, firstly, what campaign, what keyword, and then it will give you this sort of different amount of, you know, what they did from there, and it depends on what your conversion is. Did it move to another page? Did it? But it's not going to. I don't think it breaks it down visit by visit by visit. I think you can. You could use second dimensions in your analytics to what pay. To who moved to a secondary page, who exited from that page, things like that. So that would give you ideas on there. But in terms of SEO leads, I mean, SEO technically would be organic,
yeah,
because AdWords is paid. Direct would, depending on your SEO, also be because you could have, you know, worked on getting that site listed and referenced from articles, etc. But let's just say, putting that X aside, SEO would generally be organic. So, but you're going to have a problem from not provided in analytics. You could merge with your webmaster tools. That might give you a little bit more insight, but it's still going to be tricky in terms of not provided. But yeah, I mean, you have
just recently I've been going to the Tim Capper University of AdWords, and one thing that struck me the other day when I was doing some homework was that you can drill down to each individual keyword. I mean, Google does give there's no not provideds there, and by going down to the individual keyword list, you can see those which have had clicks and didn't convert. So you can tell which keywords to drop.
But organic's going to be a bit of a tricky one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else we can help Yogesh with? Right, let's move on to the next. This one is from Simon Fryer, asking about dynamic duplicates. His question is, has anyone noticed duplicate pages which are managed by canonical link elements appearing in the search engine results pages over the past month? I work on a number of e-commerce sites and noticed dynamic duplicates such as filtered pages, ones which include path parameters, and even HTTP and HTTPS variants. Generally, any ugly pages that should be managed with canonicals appearing in site:example.com searches. At first I thought it was limited to one site, but I've since noticed it on at least 6. It almost appears that either A, canonicals aren't working properly as of about a month ago, or B, pages managed by canonicals are showing in the search engine results pages but aren't actually impacting performance. There have been a number of updates recently which we suspect might have impacted pages managed by canonicals. I'm keen to see if other people have noticed anything before we go all meta directive and start no indexing the lot. Have you seen anything similar? Thanks, Simon.
Right, Simon, give me a second, mate. I haven't noticed anything looking in my Webmaster Tools specifically, but I will have another quick gander.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the one reasonable sized e-commerce site that I'm involved with, and I can't see anything at the moment, but I'm still going through.
Yeah, I haven't noticed anything as well. Do bear in mind, I'm going to assume that you're only seeing this for multiple e-commerce sites rather than just your own. That the canonical is still just a strong suggestion, and because of that, Google does have the prerogative to showcase them in a search result, even though you've got them canonical together, if they feel that it is relevant to the query. So that is one thing they might have changed or were testing with those types of queries. I don't know. Don't ask me why. Just one possibility. If, however, you've just been noticing it for your own site or for a single site, that's a larger potential issue where you might have some conflicting issues going on. So if it's for multiple, might be a test. I'll let the other guys kind of do a double check as well on that, but that's just something to remember when it comes to a canonical tag.
Excellent, Micah. Well, one thing that surprised me, has anybody ever seen SSL and non-SSL versions of a page both appearing in a search result?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very common. Not as common when you've got canonical together. I don't think I've seen that occur, but if they're not canonical, yeah, I'll see, or redirected really, then yeah, I'll see that. They're two separate pages then.
No, okay, so I've gone to, I suppose, one of my largest e-com sites, gone to a couple of product pages, one of the more busier ones, done a site query search, and no, it's not appearing in SERPs. I've done a title search on it also, in title, and they're not appearing in the SERPs. So I can't say I'm seeing what you've seen. Sorry about that, mate.
No, I'm not seeing anything either, so can't really help.
Okay. Micah, can I ask the Senior SEO Manager for Zendesk to summarise all this for us?
The duplicates? So, canonical tags, strong suggestive. Google has the right to still show them if it's relevant for the query. I don't often see this. Could be a test. And I think that's essentially the summary for that.
Okay. He's noticed it on at least 6 sites. Okay. Well, Simon, I'm sorry we can't add more to this, but love to hear more about this. If you could follow up with another question or a response, love to have a look at it more closely. All right. Next is a question from David Jones. Boosting a blog post on Facebook. Is that still running? Does boosting a blog post on Facebook help with how that post ranks in Google? I'm just wondering if things like more likes, shares, and traffic to it would send out stronger signals to Google about it and help it rank higher. I see that Dave Elliott and Masataki Wasa both commented on the community on Google+. Dave Elliott said social signals are not part of the Google algorithm. That said, obviously, the more people who see your content, the more chance there is for them to link to it or read it, etc., which will help. Masataki Wasa said no, or at least not directly. Google has been making it very clear over a prolonged period of time that it does not use social signals as ranking signals. However, there may be an indirect causation in that the more people that like and engage with posts on social media platforms, the more people that visit the page and the more links they generate. And I guess certainly increased traffic from a social media source has got to help the site overall with the greater visitation. If Google does see, I mean, do they really not use social signals? I mean, if for argument's sake, there are a lot of traffic from, say, a page on Google Plus. Does Google specifically rule that traffic out? I don't think so. Go on, Tim.
No, because you kind of got to look at what you kind of got to look at the page also. A really crappy page that is generally not going to attract any social signals. A fairly decent page would attract a moderate amount of social signals. So then you can't then assume, looking at a page, saying, well, actually it's the social signals that have done this, because the page needed to obviously be of fairly decent quality. It either needs to answer a specific question, or it needs to do something or provide something for those people to actually want to interact with it, with social signals, share it, etc. And then so you're not going to, I mean, let's put it this way: if you just have a completely blank page and as an experiment get 5,000 people to Facebook it, like it, tweet it, blah blah blah, that page isn't going to appear, is it? So I think what you're looking at here is a situation where you know, the one follows the other path. And on a particularly popular page, Google then might look at social signals not in a like sort of ranking or anything, but more on a who's interested in this and why factor. But I still think that is very noisy for them to understand. But you are not going to rank a page by buying likes and plus ones and stuff like that. Put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, that sums it up. In other words, a like is not a measure of a post's quality, or not seen as, or a plus one. All right, let's move on. David Jones, I hope that's what you were looking for. Okay, so we've done it again, guys. We've finished all of the questions asked this week on the SEO Questions community on Google+, and now we go into our news roundup. And the first one I posted, so I'll kick off. I shared a link with Micah before, so we'll get him to tell us about it. But it was about a great little site on usability. And the process for me was I went to the site, and there's a link to it in the SEO news community on Google+. I clicked onto the Peak site. They don't own the .com, so you'd go to, I think it's peak.usability.com, something like that. They sent an email saying that it would take 2 or 3 days to get back my appraisal. But instead of 2 or 3 days, it was probably 2 or 3 hours, or maybe even less. I got a link back. The link took me to a video which was of a user logging onto the site. You could see what he saw, and the insights he gave into our dumbseoquestions.com site were absolutely brilliant. I had to email Andy Wigglesworth straight away. Micah, what did you think of this service? I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, I think it's trying to think if I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that there isn't I haven't seen something like this before. It's a nice, if you ever kind of, if you've ever had companies kind of do in-house usability type of tests where you bring some random person in to sit down who's never really seen your site before, you set up a question, and have them talk about it as it goes through. It's nice, and having, granted, usually you want to do more than one, but from a free standpoint and giving it a try before going further with it, it looks good.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to that, to our next news item. Oh, okay. There's this one. I commented on this, and I'll read it out because I want to get the right on this. But it's titled there was a post made on Google Plus last night. Non-mobile friendly URLs show a nearly 50% ranking drop. And me, as someone who had to go through the pain of placating and calming down a whole heap of panicking people before the so-called Google Mobile Armageddon, it irked me that to see this headline that non-mobile friendlies show nearly a 50% ranking drop, because that's not my experience at all. I admit that the sample of data that I get to look at is very small. But anyway, I'll read this out and tell me what you think. I said I liked that Mark's crew is testing stuff, but I would rather have seen a study of a large group of sites' actual traffic rather than a search engine results page comparison, because I'm not seeing the same results with the small amount of data that I have access to. I'm also not sure that using the mobile-friendly tag was the right choice, as a site can be adequately mobile usable and not have the mobile-friendly tag applied. I don't think that the mobile-friendly tool, or at least, I mean, we're glad that dumbseoquestions.com has a mobile-friendly tag. But you know, other sites which are equally as visible as that don't carry that tag. So I think there's a little bit of massaging yet to go before Google's got that down pat. But I think using search results these days, I think it's fair to say that Google really has the number on people using search results to game the Google index, because the disparity in search results, you know, is just so wide, and I mean, two people on one desk apart will see, and using the same link, will see almost a totally different result. So I don't think it's useful to use a search engine results page as part of a comparison study, because the results could be so random. Anyway, so yeah, I thought the headline was unnecessarily, I mean, it's link bait, for God's sake, and I don't think it's helpful. I was hoping that Mark Trepagan would join us tonight to discuss it. I don't feel like I'm stabbing anybody, but you know, I really think that articles like this are just not helpful, because I mean, I'd love to see him get the data from these sites that he's saying are affected merely because they don't see the same results in the search pages now, because I'm just not seeing anything like a 50% ranking drop. All right, that's the end of my little rant. I hope I sounded open-handed and even unbiased. But I'd love to know what you guys think. I wish there were more of us here to discuss it. No comments?
Can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Oh, good. Because it's all going a bit wonky here, as I keep saying. Anyway, I'm not sure I can say much here, but for the fact that I've not seen enormous drops, and I've seen just the general changes you see. It doesn't, you know, over time with Google rankings, it's very difficult to say, okay, well, you know, that's down to Mobilegeddon. I don't know is the answer. I think this is just one set of observations of what has or hasn't happened. Whether it's a well put together study or not, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it in any detail at all. In fact, I haven't looked at it, to be honest. I think there's a feeling of mobile getting so what. Is there a dimension of flogging a dead horse here? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we've lost Tim temporarily. You're not there, are you, Tim? No. Okay, let's move on to the next news item.
Oh, he's back. Look,
Which
there he is.
he's back, is he?
Yeah. Oh, he's no, he's disappeared again.
This one was posted by Micah, a good read about ethics with Penguin. This was a long article that I thought was pretty good by Christine Scharchinger. He said, a long but a good read about ethics with Penguin. Certainly something to rile SEOs up. How about you guys? Were you riled up? Tim Capper is on the phone and can't respond.
And I'm going to have to go off and read this thing because I have to admit I didn't do my homework. So
I'm going to have to cut your pay this week, David Roseanne.
Oh dear, no. Can I sit in the corner with a silly hat on instead, please?
If I cut it down by a dollar, you have to send me a
I'll
dollar.
wear this if you wish. I'll wear this if you wish.
All right. Well, look. Let me speak to it generally, and
I'll hope this comes up in the meantime because it ain't coming up here.
okay. Well, look. The article talks about an issue of ethics in that Penguin set out to punish sites, and the gap between Penguin running and the next Penguin run was pointed out. What was it? 12 months and then 18 months and 12 months or something of that order. I don't even remember. But she pointed out that this is a long time to damage a site for some algorithmically determined crime when a site could easily be completely innocent. They may have not done anything outside of the Google guidelines, or certainly not knowingly done anything outside the Google guidelines. And because closing a site down or virtually closing it down for a period which could be 12 months involves people being sacked, people being on reduced wages. Some firms are bankrupted by it because their focus is wholly and solely organic search, and people might criticize them for that, but what about negative SEO? I mean, somebody could be punished for the actions of another. I mean, and Google set this up. It was completely immoral, or is it amoral? In other words, they didn't take ethics into that wasn't part of their thought process. But yeah, so. Look, I don't want to get into the issue of Matt Cutts leaving, but it does seem that Penguin and Panda were from another era, and they're progressively being wound back and discounted. And we're probably, I mean, not that I have any proof of that. It's just that you don't see anybody complaining. You don't see anybody screaming that they've been unfairly punished, and yet we've had nearly since around about 2011. It's been nearly constant with people who have been disadvantaged through no fault of their own. And negative SEO, it's a creation of Google's, and they should not be allowing a situation where a malicious competitor can harm another person's business, and Google are complicit in that damage. They've got to fix it. They've got to fix it. That's my opinion, anyway. Comments, Tim?
Oh.
If you don't comment, I'll start talking about the disavow tool.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think they realised they got it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yep. David's got technical difficulties. He's dropped off. All right, let's move on from this one. And this app indexing is now available for iOS in Google Search. What is this all about, do you think? Is there anything behind this? Is there an agenda here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. This article and other news articles can be seen on the SEO News community on Google+. And we're at the thank you for watching point. If you're still watching us, I see we still have viewers. I'd like to thank you for your participation, because your interest in what we do makes what we do worthwhile. We thank you for that, and we'll be back next week to do it all again. We'd like to have you join us. We're just about to go off the air, but I will place a link to this Hangout in the SEO Questions community on Google+. Thanks again, and